Hello, my name is Tanesha Sharp, and this is my husband.
Raymond Sharp.
And we're here to
Jump
jump in.
in.
Today, we're going to talk about how do you know the relationship is over? When
Mm,
you're dating somebody,
mhm,
how do we know that it's over?
mm.
What are your thoughts, baby?
Uh, I think there's a lot of factors. I think one is that you um, don't care to include them in what you have going on.
Mm,
Yeah, you want like a line of demarcation, and it's not like, hey, from time to time I need time for myself. It's I would be fine if this person wasn't included in anything else I have going on. I also think that you realize the relationship is over when you don't want to be honest with this person anymore, or if you start to
that's
hide
good.
things, or
Yeah.
again, that goes back to like not wanting to include them in what you have
Mm-hmm.
going on. And also, I think the relationship is over when they violate you, and it doesn't have to be a SA or anything like that. But I mean,
Like
like they
trust.
break some type of trust that you hold
Yeah.
dear, or if it's something that you communicated that say, hey, this is a red line for me, and they habitually violate that red line. I think that it's time to end that relationship, because at that point it starts doing more harm than good for you to just to say that you're in a relationship.
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to say is the trust thing. I've always told my husband, like, I can't be with anyone I trust. I can't trust.
That's right.
So I'm not the type of woman that's gonna keep going through his phone, that's gonna keep looking through his clothes, seeing, trying to find something. Like, if I don't trust you, I don't think I can. I don't think it's gonna be a future. Like, I don't think because where do you build? How do you build something? It has to be off of trust. So that's one thing that I know that I will feel like it's over. And also, if the person's not excited to be around you, not excited to see you, the excitement is gone. It just feels like something. It almost feel like maybe there's a distance. It just feels off. And sometimes we try to continue to make the things work, but something has happened, whether it's another woman or another man. Something has happened where what you guys used to have in the beginning, the excitement, how it was when you talk on the phone a lot, really getting to know each other. Well, now it might be different because we got text messages and stuff, but we'll say texting all the time, good morning, when all that stuff, kind of like the inconsistency of a behavior starts to happen, and you're starting to notice like they used to be like that. And if you talk to them and then there's really no explanation, there's really no reason why, I would say that the relationship is slowly ending because there's something else out there, like my husband was talking about, they're keeping from you. There's something that they don't want to share. And I mean, I think the openness and honestness is like huge because you can't really build from that. Um, so yeah, that's what I would say is that's kind of when you know it's kind of over. Anything else you can think
Yeah, I
of?
also think too that as you mature, when you realize you're in a particular relationship for
Mm,
the wrong reason, that relationship is over. If I realize I got in a relationship with you or pursued
mm.
you just on optics, and I want to be,
Ooh.
I'm gonna talk about something that some people know, but I think unfortunately some women get caught up in it, and maybe some men do too.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people that only want you because they know other people want you. They want to be with you just to kind of rub in the nose of other people. They don't like you. They don't care about you. They
Wow.
like what other people think about them because they're in a
Mm.
relationship with you. And I think
Wow.
that people don't realize that people really do play. I want to say something. They play silly little games in that regard.
Wow.
But I think that once you realize that I'm in this relationship for the wrong reason, like this relationship was great for this season, not for where I'm going. I think that's when you, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead, let's nip this in the bud. And I think another thing too, people have to really be careful with is even as they mature, when you take inventory of who you are and who you're becoming, and if you realize this person can't come with me where I'm going,
Mm.
this person is really, my these habits, these behaviors, if they're not maturing, if they're not pushing to go to the next level, if they're not, really going to be compatible with you to where you're going, if they can't speak into where you're going, if they can't help
Mm.
get you there, even if they can't show you step by step, or they're saying, hey, let's get you to this conference because this speaker's going to be there to help get you to the next level. Hey, let's get up and go to church because I noticed that you're lacking in this area. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. They're not kind of like have motivation to push you. And I think one of the
That's
weirdest
good.
and worst things we do is like when we realize something is over, a lot of people say, well, I've been with her for this long. I've been with him. And just because you've been with somebody with time doesn't, by a long period of time, doesn't mean that you have a great relationship. It just means y'all been tolerating each other for a long time. So don't, if you start using time as a justification and say, well, we've been together this long and hopefully he'll change. Either he is or he is. Especially to me, I really believe once you get past a certain age, man, you got 18 months.
Mm.
18 months. Once you in that 30, 35 range, 18 months. Don't I don't think
Yeah.
people it kind of bothers me that people spend like 10 years with someone when they start dating in the mid to late 20s and they spend 10 years and they're like, oh, it's just
Just
don't get
didn't
married,
work.
or
Yeah.
the relationship fills it out. It's like some of these things that you saw early on that you're now using as justification for breaking up after 10 to 15 years. You knew that many years ago,
Mm.
but you just hoped without proof that this person was going to change.
Yeah.
And again, when you hope that things go well, and we all, again, we hope that things will work out. However, when you see proof that someone's who they are and they refuse to improve themselves, they refuse to work on themselves, to
Yeah.
me, it's like once I notice it, mark. I'm counting, I'm watching. And if you're not putting in the work to actually change and improve yourself, after 18 months, what are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
You
And I
know, and I
think,
think even 18 months sometimes could be too long.
yeah, and I think ultimately, what's happening is you realize it's not going to work, but you don't want to start all over, or you don't want to be alone again. You don't want to go through, like, I'm comfortable with this, like I can accept it until maybe somebody else comes along, or I just don't want to be alone. Like, I have somebody to go to the movies with, I have somebody to
Go to dinner,
go to dinner with, like go out with and do things with, like
take pictures on social media,
like I don't want
optics.
to not have anybody right now. Like, I don't want to be alone, and this person gives me at least that, and so you settle for that, but then you still end up wasting years and a lot of time, because you don't want to be alone. Be alone for a season, to get to the right person for the lifetime. You know what I mean? And I'm glad for every breakup that I had, because it led me to where I am today, and we're 18 years
Yay.
this year
That's right.
of marriage and 20 years together. So
Yeah. I will
yeah,
also say this when it comes to that,
it's worth it.
you know, from a guy, I'm gonna say from my point of view. I can't say for every guy, or even some guys. I like to. I kind of watch a woman from a distance before I decided to pursue them, just to make sure that okay, man, I notice her. That's cool. And now I'm watching her patterns, her habits, so that when I encounter her, does everything line up to what I saw or what I think I saw? And I think that in some situations, like even how we met through a mutual friend. And I we talked. We had a fantastic conversation the first time we talked,
Yeah.
and we spent a lot of time talking that first week. And I was like, man, this is different. The conversation is different. The mindset is different. We understood.
It was based off of communication.
It was based off of communication to start off with.
Yeah.
So our mutual friend, I said, hey, tell me about this girl. Be honest. And she was, oh no, you're good. Okay, cool. We started dating. Met her best friend, and me and our best friend, we clicked. And I pulled aside the same thing. I said, look, this is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking. What can you tell me? And they're like, okay, that's on point. This is on point. This is what you have to have some concerns about. I'm like, okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah, she was honest.
She was very honest with me, and I appreciate that. We love her dearly. That's our girl. So with that, I would say this, that, we have to be careful. And again, making sure that we see what we see. And when we see what we see, women, I'm gonna speak to women directly. You're being watched, even though you don't know you're being watched. There's a lot of things that women do that disqualify themselves from guys that are waiting for you to leave certain people alone, because we're looking at you like, man, she don't have to put up with that. She don't have to deal with that. Man, I would love to. And sometimes because you hold on to who you're holding on to for so long, some guys decide to move on because it's like, man, if she don't get it after now, I don't know if I want to deal with her, because her mindset is not there to understand she's being actually softly being abused. She don't even know. She don't even see her value. She's just putting up with something she don't have to put up with. Even if I'm not the man, she can do better than that. And because of that, sometimes some men look at them and be like, man, I wish I had a chance, because I would show her a completely different life. And because, you continue on in that thing. And, we have desire to be with a woman and to get married and to have children. If you don't get it, we're going to find somebody who does, and we move on.
Yeah. So That's when you know the relationship is over. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, we want you to what?
Jump
Jump
in.
in. Have a wonderful day.
Y'all take care.
Bye.